Good morning, everybody. This is Hannah with Mountain Watershed, and I am here with my dog Kiva today at the Indian Creek Gorge. And we are at the trailhead for the gorge part of the Indian Creek Valley Trail. And we're going to be doing a virtual wildflower walk today because in this time of social distancing, we can't have our regularly scheduled birds and blooms walk. So I'm going to do my best to make up for the information that Lisa and Josh give you each year during the Birds and Blooms walk. So bear with me. I'm going to try my best and we'll see how this goes. Kiva, she's a very good puppy. So you see she's on a leash because we leash our dogs on the Indian Creek Valley Trail for your safety, for your dog's safety, for other dog safety, and for other people. So let's just remember that when we're on the Indian Creek Valley Trail, that, it is best to keep your dog leashed, huh? This video is going to take me forever because I keep stopping to pick all the garlic mustard. And it's everywhere. When you see some, go ahead and help me out and pick it. Please and thank you. Alright, I'm sure most of you know what these are. These are little purple violets. And my grandma used to call these Johnny Jump Ups. And as a kid, we would play a game where we'd pick them and then put the necks of them together like that and see whose pops off. See whose flower pops off. I'm not going to pop the flower off right now, but you get what I'm saying. Over here you can see we have some yellow violets right next to some beautiful purple violets. So you can see I have my hooded warbler and Blackburnian warbler earrings in today in remembrance of the birds part of the Birds and Blooms hike. I started with Mountain Watershed in October, and since then I've been hiking around the gorge and checking things out, seeing what kinds of plants are here. And it's a little different than what I'm used to. I'm used to plants around Morgantown. This is a little higher elevations. I have my handy dandy wildflower book, and I'll show you that. And I may need to use that as a reference. So I may show you guys how to use a field guide. And there are so many wildflowers in this section, and it seems pretty pristine in the fact that a lot of this native vegetation has gone undisturbed for a while. So really fun stuff. I'm excited to show you around. And raise your hand if you have any questions. See Indian Creek roaring just below us. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous creek. This is called cutleaf toothwort. You can see that their leaves have these really long sections here and then deep cuts. So that's how I remember cutleaf. The leaf looks like it was cut all the way to the base. Cutleaf toothwort. Sharp-lobed hepatica. Its leaves have 3 sides here, come from the same base, and it has these little white flowers. I found them a lot on the rocky outcrops right here in the gorge. They like to be on top of the rocks. This is a pretty sharp-lobed hepatica leaf. Nice speckles. You can see that the younger leaves are nice and green. As we go through the gorge, I'm going to try my best to not use any fancy schmancy language about the plants. I want it to be something that you're able to relate to the plant with some everyday description about it. And hopefully the next time you're out and about, you will remember the video and maybe some of the ridiculous things that I say about the plants. And that'll help you remember what they are next time. Here we have a nice patch of white trillium flowers. And trillium are very easy to identify in the fact that they have 3 leaves, and the flower comes right out of the middle of those 3 leaves. So you can have a white trillium, and there's also a red one here. It's blooming right in the same spot. Here is a side-by-side view of a red trillium and a white trillium. It looks like I'm a little late on a lot of the bloodroot flowers, but here is one that's still remaining. It'll have an offshoot with a white flower up the top. It'll have these really crazy looking leaves. And some of them will have more lobes, some of them will have less lobes. But you can see that there's a whole patch through here. And if you look closely, you can see some wild geranium in there as well. And here's a ramp. Here's another ramp. And there's another ramp right next to a bloodroot. Check it out. One of my favorite things about the springtime are these streams that come off of the hillside and appear out of nowhere. So the stream doesn't go all the way down the hillside, but it starts coming out of that small hole. How cool is that? Here we have some giant blue cohosh, and when they emerge they have that dark purplish color to them, and then they start to unravel into these leaves that have prongs that come out, and then they have 3 little leaflets on each stem. And they have more of a rounded base to them. Black cohosh will have a very jagged edge to them. They'll look different. Here we have a beautiful bellwort. So the stem will come up, and it'll have droopy leaves, and then a yellow droopy flower at the tip, next to an older trillium. Look at that guy. Here's a nice patch of fiddleheads. I love fiddleheads in the spring. They're so pretty. So when ferns begin to unravel, they start at the base. Here's some at the base. And they unfurl. How neat is that? Peterson's field guide. So Peterson's have great field guides that you can use. This is a field guide to medicinal plants and herbs, which is not what I need. I need a native wildflowers. So this is not going to be super helpful, but this is the only field guide I have, which seems really silly that I only have one field guide, right? And here you can look up flowers by the collar, which is nice if you have a flower to them, but also not nice if you don't have a flower and you just have the leaf material. So thankfully, this plant that I'm talking about has a purple flower. So you can see down at the bottom it's color-coded. We're going to go to the purple section. And maybe this will be in here? Purple flowers, where are you? Oh yeah! Nice! That plant that I couldn't figure out that was popping up in my garden, I'm like, I swear I planted that, but I don't know what you are. It's a blue vervain. I'm very excited about blue vervain because I really love blue vervain tincture. Very, very much. What's the next best thing to a field guide? An iPad. Here we have a tricky one. And it's not tricky. It's just tricked me. So you see that these leaves look very similar to mayapple, but I'll show you mayapple alongside this one next. And it has more of a waxy coating, and it's not so jagged on the centers. And this beautiful purple flower is a wild geranium. And I'm very excited about it. Also right here in the same spot we have spring beauties. These little things pop up very early, and then you can see that they have the nice little stripes on their petals. Those are spring beauties. And right here we have some foam flower. They're very soft and they have white speckles on them. Here is the mayapple for comparison with that wild geranium. You can see that has a much waxier feel to it. and the leaves are much more smooth on the outside. Haha! Here's a wild geranium right next to it. So it's got these lobes, but geranium has the jagged edges. It's a really nice comparison for it being side by side. Thank you. Thank you, nature. Here we have a huge patch of one of my favorites. Ooh, and a crushed up snail shell. Oh, that was a big snail. Here we have wild ginger. It has these heart-shaped leaves, and it has one lobe down by the base of the stem. You can see what I'm talking about here. And then down at the bottom of the plant, here's a good one. You can see that there's a nice little flower, a nice little purple flower. So if you check out the base, oop, there's another one. They're all down at the base of the plant. Little beautiful flowers that aren't showy. They're just there to be there. They're not concerned about everybody seeing them. Here's a whole patch of bellwort. So you can see that the stems rise up, tall and lanky, and then beautiful little yellow flower dripping down. This beauty right here is a native phlox, P-H-L-O-X. This is a huge stand of that giant blue cohosh that I was talking about earlier, and just coats the hillside. I just love the gorge. I love the gorge so much because it's just so untouched. Look at all that diversity. Here is a trout lily flower. It'll have a droopy yellow flower. It comes from a stem. It has these spotted leaves at the base, and you'll see these spotted leaves everywhere. The leaf of tulip is pretty indicative. It's not going to look like anything else. It's got those two peaks up at the top, and I like to teach this one to kids, and they like to think of it as a cat. So if we twist it up like this, you have the cat ears up at the top. You have cat ears up at the top, and then you have its whiskers down at the bottom. And that's how they would remember tulip tree. So just think about that, and think about your cats liking tulips, I guess. And this is called Dutchman's Breeches. And it has these feathery leaves to it. And the leaves of squirrel corn, very similar. But the difference is that the white flowers that are produced kind of look like pants on a wire, right? Dutchman's breeches, Dutchman's breeches. Alright folks, I hope you enjoy the spring and you're outside enjoying the birds singing and the flowers blooming. I hope that you learned some things today that you didn't already know, or maybe it was a refresher for your memory, because it's kind of hard. You know, spring wildflowers only come around once a year, so I hope it was nice and enjoyable. Leave us a comment. You know, what did you think about the video? I'd love to hear your feedback, and if you have any questions, let me know. Oh, join us next year for our Birds and Blooms hike. It's usually at the beginning of May. So until then, I hope you enjoy the springtime. Go out and try to check out some of these wildflowers and see if you can identify them based on this video. Alright folks, we'll catch you later. Bye. After you go for walks in the woods, check for ticks, because I just found a tick on me. So you definitely want to make sure that you check every little nook and cranny, because they can be anywhere. Wow, a bug. Very nice.